And it was just skin tight and just like a plastic cheap mask, and that was my costume.
You wore a tiny.
Yeah, it didn't even like tie in the back, so it was just like an open back. Welcome to This Week in Nerd History. This is a podcast where we talk about all the fun, nerdy, dumb, silly stuff from the past, present, and the future. I'm Mike, creative director at Dorkly and Lowbrow. Joining me, we've got AJ, production manager at Lowbrow. I don't have anything clever to add this time. I'm thrown off by everything. And we've got
because I wasn't here.
I know.
I magically reappeared.
You submitted a question for Justin last week, our guest last week. And we've got Sal from Comic Pop. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? Happy Halloween.
Hey.
Well, today's election day. You're listening to this. It's on election day. We're recording this on Halloween. There's too many things happening.
It's perfect. It's perfect for spooky season.
I think before I answer your question, Mike, I think you need to clarify. Do you want the real answer or do you want the fake podcast answer?
Give us the truncated real answer.
The truncated answer is I am not good because I wanted to be in full costume today, and I was the only one that was on board. So I want everyone out there to shame Mike and Sal because next year we have to do it. I wasn't here for last week's episode, which was going to be the one that aired right before Halloween. So today that we're recording is Halloween. I'm going to be the Wicked Witch of the West, like classic style. I wanted to be in full costume today, but I'm not. The day this comes out is election day. So it's an insane week that we're covering.
Yeah.
But the podcast answer is I'm fantastic because I missed you guys and I love you so much.
I know, we missed you too.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yay.
But I'm so mad.
Well, the timing, we would have made, in order for it to work, we would have needed to have been in costumes last week. And that would have been it for an awkward
but I wasn't here.
interview.
Justin would have been like, what the hell is this show?
Where me and Sal are both in like full witch makeup. Everybody's just...
And no one would explain the costumes.
Just don't mention it.
He's like, is this what you guys normally... Yes.
How many hours does it take to animate one sequence?
Can we do 5 minutes of Halloween?
We could do a tight 5. Let's do a tight 5 on Halloween.
Let's do a tight 5. Yeah. I wanted to do a bit where we each talked about our top 3 favorite Halloween costumes of the past. Yeah. I was Judice one year for Halloween. It's the character from SNL. It's Kristen Wiig's character where she has a giant forehead and there's like 3 sisters that are normal and she's the one with the tiny baby hands. I put this costume together in less than 24 hours. I spent the day with one of my best friends and like got costume pieces together, and it is my absolute favorite costume I've ever done because it was perfect. So that's what I'm going for. My other ones that I talked about a little bit when we started recording, I used to be a teacher in a high school in Manhattan, and for 1 year I was Maleficent, and I spent an extra 3 hours doing a deep dive on makeup research on how to get a face that looks like her, and I woke up 3 hours early to do makeup, and I looked like I had intense cheekbones. Are you guys dressing up tonight?
No. I'll just be handing out candy or taking turns.
You can dress up to hand out candy.
I am dressed up. I'm a pumpkin from the world famous.
Are you the actual pumpkin? Sal, you're a pumpkin in Pumpkin Party.
I am.
I'm
the new guy.
Do you have a shirt that represents your new guy look?
I mean,
because
I feel
you should.
I suspect, and I don't have confirmation on this, but I suspect that my character is interchangeable with multiple pumpkins in the sketch.
You could be wrong. You could be right. I don't know.
No, I try to keep it consistent. You definitely do have a pumpkin.
You have a specific pumpkin.
I do have a legitimate pumpkin party question. This is for the audience. I know what you two will say that you'll be on board for, but I need the audience because it is important for you guys.
It is.
So I get random emails and stuff from vendors and shit all the time. Somebody's been kind of hounding me the past week or so, and there's a lot of different plushy vendor kind of merch places.
Oh, I'm sorry, it is me. No,
that will they have it set up where it's there's no upfront money from the creator of it, but it's based on pre-sales. So if you hit a certain mark, then they'll produce the product for you, the promotional item. So
we have to talk
if we
about
had
this.
enough pre-sales of a pumpkin party plushie, depending on whoever it would be, right? If it's Chunky Town, if it's Gordy, if it's
Geary,
right?
Yeah.
Would anybody be interested in doing that? Because my first thing is just I don't know. We would need to time it out
arms?
so it's
Can I have 10 arms? Immediately, yes.
So
also,
please,
everyone who's ever worked for Lowbrow, immediately
Yeah.
interested. If you are interested in Pumpkin Party plushies, please in the comments write Pumpkin Party, all caps, Pumpkin Party plush. in all caps,
Yeah, there
so
you
that
go.
we can count how many there are, and we can be like, okay, there's this much interest.
Because then I'll take that information, then I'll try to figure out if it's like actually viable for them.
I want a pumpkin plushie. I don't even care which one. I would do it. I would take Chunky Town. I would take Gordy. I would take the busted up one. That one would be really fun,
know.
especially if there were pieces that fell out.
Yeah.
I would take of course Spooky G, because that's me for anyone who doesn't know already. I'm very if you do any like business with us on the side as not Dorkly, my logo instead of like a normal face is just Spooky G, because I'm so proud of being Spooky G. People are like, why is this like it's a one-eyed pumpkin? Like what?
Oh my god! I just had I'm sorry. I just had a pumpkin party pitch for you, and it's just
yes. Write it down. We're gonna
it's
need
us
ideas for next
three.
year.
It's our characters from Pumpkin Party doing the Pumpkin Party podcast.
Pumpkin cast.
The pumpkin cast, and we bring people in. Oh my god, yes.
And then we all just get bashed.
And then we all just get bashed to shit.
We have a guest. It's just like some angry kid. Anyway, all right, moving on. We got a big show.
We would bring
We got
in
a big
all
show
the
today.
other people. We got a great show today.
God.
It's all right.
Sal,
It's tight. It's
I
tight.
meant to
This-
continue with the Halloween costume
I
thing.
can't
Did you have any
believe-
memorable costumes, Sal?
Yeah.
I it's funny. Like I really always like tried as a kid to go all out, and then like as I got older, I got like more into the idea of like cosplaying, but I didn't know what that was at the time. So I was like, oh, I'll be a Reservoir Dog, or I'll be like Silent Bob, or all this stuff, and I did all those things
were you
as well.
Silent Bob?
I was Silent Bob, but I wasn't fat back then, so it looked ridiculous. And but yeah, I was Silent Bob. I was Dick Tracy when I was a little kid. I was
Dick Tracy, wow.
Dick
Yeah.
Tracy's a good
The movie-
one.
The movie
That's a
came
deep
out.
cut.
Like, that was
Yeah.
when the movie came out. I was Dick Tracy. I had like the trench coat and everything, and and I was oh god, Danny DeVito's Penguin for
wow.
Batman Returns, and I wanted to have like the
Did you
flipper
have
hands.
one of the little guys? You
No,
wanted flipper
no,
hands, but you couldn't?
No, I taped my hands so that they would like remain, flipper hands. It was really inconvenient for trick or treating, but I was accurate, which is the most important thing.
That is the most important thing. I agree.
Mike, what about you? You got any favorite memorable costume?
Probably one of the more recent ones, which was still several years ago. I did Crazy Cat Lady.
That's
It wasn't
a good one.
necessarily from The Simpsons.
Definitely
but I
got to
just,
post that picture.
Yeah, I bought like a bathrobe and then like a wig that had like curlers on it, and then I bought like 7 just little stuffed animal cats, and just bobby pinned them or safety pinned them to the thing.
It was
and like
the
put them in pockets and
Also-
stuff. And then I carried
That's
around
such a
one of
good
like
idea.
the most docile cat that we have, and just carried her around for most of the night.
Also, for anyone listening, I started working at Lowbrow the year that Spooky G made their debut in Pumpkin Party, which was 4 years ago now? 3 years ago. And so it was spooky time, and we were just like ramping up to do that pumpkin party, and I was like, what is this? Like, it doesn't seem to be like, it was a really big thing in the office, but like nowhere else. So I immediately was on board. It was like everybody was so pumped about it. And somebody in the office sent like on the inner office chat a picture of Mike as Crazy Cat Lady. And I was like, this is my boss? Like, this is amazing. Like, I was like, I just fell into a dream job. I don't know how. But I was like, he's hilarious. And he's like really good at all this shit. I was like, all right, I'm here forever. So you're stuck with me.
All right. That's the Crazy Cat Lady. That's how I land most of the projects as well.
You're like, I know you're on the fence about this, but check out my Crazy Cat Lady costume.
The trap is sprung.
You just slide it over in like an envelope. It's a sealed envelope, and you just take a look at this.
Here's my counter offer.
I'm in.
When you were asking about
My
like
man.
Halloween costumes and stuff a couple weeks ago, I was thinking back to the ones that I used to do in college. This was, I think it was maybe like my freshman year. We still didn't really know everybody on the floor, but for whatever reason, I got like we went to Walmart or wherever it was, and got like a child-size C-3PO costume, and it's just like a jumper basically, and it was just skin tight and just like a plastic cheap mask, and that was my costume.
You wore a tiny.
Yeah, it didn't even
child-size
it couldn't even like tie in the
C-3PO.
back, so it was just like an open back.
Like a hospital gown.
I hope you keep my audio for that bit because I'm laughing so hard that it just is coming out as little squeaks of air.
I don't know. I actually really hope that no photo evidence
I hope
exists.
if anyone
in that.
out there, I will give you drop a
I don't
comment
think
in
it
the
does.
Patreon, and
'cause
I will give you
haven't
my
seen
direct line to text it to me. I need that photo.
But that one, like a lot of people were laughing. A lot of people were just like, because he's not.
They're like, who are you?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
if I met you in college, I would have been like, we're friends now.
Yeah.
There's no pockets on it. There's like nothing to like hide anything. It was a lot. All right, let's talk about today in nerd history. And
Literally today, Sal dropped some news.
I did. My wife DM'd me during the show and was like, did you know that Nintendo launched a music app? And I'm like, no. And then I checked it. It was 16 hours ago. And I'm like, oh my God, there's an actual thing here. So here it is. Enjoy Nintendo game music on your smart device. According to the official website, kick back and enjoy some Nintendo tunes with Nintendo Music, the exclusive smart device app for Nintendo Switch Online members that lets you stream or download Nintendo soundtracks, create and share playlists, browse music by different categories, and this is important, more. So
Sal, you are Nintendo, you need to sponsor us because Sal is a fantastic
I just sold it to a whole generation of
people. You
people.
sold it to so many people. You talked so fast. I literally was like, you're saying this. I'm checking off boxes. I think that I am a Nintendo Switch Online member. I think I could do
I
this.
am too. So my wife was like, this, and I'm like, this
also,
is so stupid.
does your wife
and my wife was
have
like,
my
this
number?
is so cool.
Can your wife call me soon? Sidebar.
Yeah, I got to get her on the phone.
Okay, give her my number.
I pitched her the idea of like coming on this show, and she was like, under no circumstance.
She's like, absolutely not.
No, she wants to do it, but she was like,
then I need to.
They don't want
I'm gonna...
me. They don't want me.
Yes,
they do. We do.
Absolutely.
Me specifically, I've already told you. I'm telling the world now. I'm slowly stalking Sal's wife, and
yeah, she's on socials. You can see her.
She's for anyone like me who didn't know, she's on his other podcast. So I was like, wait, that's your wife? And that it blew my mind. So I'm going to be slowly learning things about her that I can use to get her to be my friend and then try to convince her to come on this podcast. Because that's how I make friends.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
That's normal,
I just stalk
right?
people until they become friends with me.
Until they can't ignore you.
That New York Comic Con happened, and I met Michael Ironside, the bad guy from Total Recall and voice of Darkseid in the Justice League cartoon and whatnot. And I met him with Tiffany and my wife. And this is important. And so we're talking, and he's just like, "This is your wife," and I'm like, "Yeah, this is Tiffany."
In that voice,
in his insane Michael Ironside voice, and he was just like, "You're really punching above your weight class there, pal." And I'm like, "Thank you, Michael Ironside." He's like, "You're very beautiful person."
That.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Thank you for flirting with my wife and then signing my photo of you. I'm leaving now."
Thank you for hitting on my wife in front of me.
Yeah, and he's like, "God bless you," and I was like,
God
"Thanks,
bless
Michael
you both.
Ironside." What a weird experience this was, but also not the first time.
What are you doing that I don't know about? Not everything is about looks, people.
Exactly.
I will tell you,
Michael
if you were to line up all of my boyfriends, if any of my boyfriends, my previous boyfriends are listening to this, they might get really offended. But if you line up my previous boyfriends, with I think my husband excluded. My husband is, I think, very classically handsome, but a lot of my boyfriends are not. They're like goofy looking because I like goofy dudes. Like it just so happened my husband's also goofy and is classically handsome. So I got lucky with that one.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it's a spectrum where they get progressively less attractive.
At some point, they get real bad. That's when I was in a
weird period at a certain point.
But yeah, so like I guess we can like listen to the Animal Crossing soundtrack on our smart devices.
Well, no, if you can if you can put music together and make music, that would actually be great because I'm literally at this point with my 8-year-old Felix, who just turned 8 like last week. Where he's making his own animations and he's starting to get interested in music, but I don't know anything about music. So I can't like really teach him much. Right. But if he plays with stuff on his own, he'll teach me stuff. So like this could be really cool for him. Like we're already members. We don't have to pay additional.
Wait, was that a part of it? You can compose stuff?
Well,
I would assume you can.
This is more like you can make playlists. Maybe it's covered under the more angle. But apparently, one is that there's a free trial that you can check out, so you can actually see if this is something you want to do. But more importantly, with a paid Nintendo Switch Online family membership, everybody on the membership can download and enjoy the Nintendo Music app on their smart devices. So you don't have to get like individual accounts in order to enjoy it. And apparently, you do not need the Switch to have it. Like, you just need the online account. Like, you can, because it's downloaded on your phone, so you don't actually need to have like a Switch. Although I don't know what you would have a Switch online account for if you didn't have one. But that's in there too.
I just
and
like
this is on the heels, I guess,
yeah,
of
how
like
would you
of
have an account
Alarmo.
with that?
I know. Yeah, I was gonna say like with Alarmo a couple weeks ago, it was just like jokingly like, all right, they're just doing whatever to distract you from the Switch 2 not coming out, and now Nintendo
Not
Music,
coming
it's
out?
like, all right, or you
Yeah.
know, like it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
But now with the Nintendo Music, it's like,
it
all right, what's
coming out?
happening?
Hey, what the hell are you doing, Nintendo?
Wait, they're like,
Nintendo's
quick,
like, hey,
what
over
can
here,
we
look
throw
over here.
together? It's included, it's free, but will it get more money for us? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how corporations work. I don't work for them anymore.
Exactly.
We're small and independent here at Dorkly. Please,
That's right.
please sponsor us.
That's why we need patrons. Go to patreon.com/dorkly.
Beautiful, Sal. That was beautiful.
That's what I was going for, but I don't have the smoothness.
I know,
I don't have more in that sentence, so I just kind of trailed off.
You just trail.
Yeah,
that's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't try to trail off there,
We'll
didn't
cut
I?
it where we need it.
But
And then Mike will
Yeah.
dub over with his voice that is very obviously.
Go to patreon.com/Dorkly. My name is Sal. Look at me talk. That's my Sal impression.
When
I
I
don't know if
write
you guys
notes
have
to
heard
my-
my Sal impression.
That is,
I'm a freaking idiot.
Hi,
my
my
Sal.
name's Sal. Right? That's pretty good, right?
Yes.
I completely stole that from Bill Hader. That's Bill Hader's impression of Conan.
Of Conan, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you know, it's just a thing that happened literally a few hours ago, but it's just kind of like, okay, that's something that happened today.
literally
In nerd
today
Right.
in nerd
That is, like,
history
the
while
most
we're
recent-
recording. The second newest thing, I think, is called Don't Scream 1.0. I'm super excited about this. I don't know if I'm going to play it. The name Don't Scream 1.0 insinuates that there will be a newer version later, which I'm very excited. It says the Unreal Engine 5 horror game restarts from scratch even if you gasp, squeak, or whimper into your mic. So, like,
Is sure this is a horror game?
yeah, it's called Don't Scream. So
Or
if you
orgasm.
watch the trailer, it's like literally it starts and you're just like it looks like it's real footage. It doesn't
Yeah,
look
I love
like
the way they
it's-
made it look like
they
old
made it like
80s
very
footage,
grainy,
yeah.
so it looks like you're in a cornfield and you're trying to find your way in a maze cornfield. But they intersplice it with little with scary things. So if you gasp for those scary things, which I gasp for anything. I'm so I have goosebumps literally just watching this trailer. Can you see those motherfuckers? Like I am so, and then it, like if you scream, it says you screamed. Like press any key to restart. Like the idea of this is so fun. I want to do it, but I would literally not make it a minute in this game because especially if the jump scares aren't built in, if they randomize. They could get me in the first minute anytime. I would have to be
Yeah.
like a docile. I've been thinking of this term as calm as a Hindu cow, which comes from Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been thinking about it a lot in the last week when I'm like, I need to calm down. I'll be like as calm as a Hindu cow because they don't get eaten. They can be very calm. They don't
Yeah, they
have
have
to
no
worry
reason
about.
to be nervous.
They have no reason to be nervous. So as calm as a Hindu cow, like I would need to be like have the most sleep, have the most like. I don't know, everything that I need in order to be like, okay, all the lights on, number one, playing it midday outside with other noises happening, although like maybe those would pick up. But
I think it would.
how would I play this without being able to gasp, squeak, or whisper?
There's another funny thing too, because I was looking at that trailer and stuff. If you hit mute, like a big mute icon pops up on screen.
And it just pauses.
It just says,
Well, no, you can play, but
"Loser."
it's like shames you that you're on mute, like you're
It's
cheating.
like you're a pussy.
You make a good point too about like the randomized jump scares. I wonder if it is randomized just to make it that much harder. Because
I bet it would.
Yeah, 'cause I mean,
especially
even
because like
too,
certain
in
jump
that
scares
trailer-
are meh.
right, but like I would bet like if it's not randomized, then it's just going to take forever to get through them because like that first one, like that skeleton thing jumps in at the end and like you would react from that. So then if you play again, you know that's coming. You're like, all right, and
you're
then there's
not
going to be
scared.
like another quick
Also,
jump
like,
scare
are
right
they-
after
are
that's
they-
going to get you.
Yeah.
Also, like, are the images randomized and is the timing randomized? Because those two things would make it so, like,
Right.
if you know it's going to come every 10 seconds, then you're expecting it. But also,
Yeah.
I feel like in the trailer that they show, like, they're literally, there's a clock on screen that shows how long you've been playing. Like
Yep.
there's a lot of stuff, and it looks like you scream when actual things come up. So they have all these things in place to try to get you to be scared, but the things that are probably going to get you to like gasp and scream are like things jumping out at the game and not the jump scare bits that they're splicing in. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool ideas here. I like that this exists. I'm excited to see what happens with it and how, if you play the game, if you've already played it, because this was posted on October 28th, so that was 3 days ago now. And by the time this podcast drops, it'll have been out a week. If you played this game and you liked it, let us know like what was good about it, what was bad about it.
Officially, according to Don't Scream, if you fart too aggressively, it will also count as a scream.
That is so funny. Does it say you farted? Because that would be...
I think everything counts as a scream,
My
unfortunately.
headphones fell off.
I would love it if it just said you fart.
You can tell the difference.
That would be so funny. But it's true. Like some people fart when they're nervous. I fart when I'm nervous. It's an actual biological thing. It's because when you're scared, sometimes you will shit yourself. The idea of shitting yourself is because you will let go of everything inside of you so that you can run faster. It's a biological thing that happens.
so crazy.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's also
crazy that
because
like
we
this is
evolved from
because
skunks.
we evolved from skunks,
Right,
so that's what we
exactly.
do. But like the idea of shitting yourself is because you're so scared. Your body's like, I need to get rid of everything that's like throwing up and shitting yourself. Both the same. Like when something's really gross or scary, like the guy with his thing falling on his truck. Like you throw up,
like losing his life savings.
you throw up, you get rid of everything in your body that's excess so that you can do what you have to do, and the adrenaline can pump in your brain like and in your body and like get you going and get you focused. This is like
That's
I
gonna be
love
so-
I love science.
fucking insane. Like if you're in the woods and like a grizzly bear comes up and you're like
And you just shit yourself. Like number one, it's that, but it's also like it might be
blast from both
biologically
ends.
like
Yeah.
if you have bad diarrhea, maybe it
Right.
just covers the face
Yeah.
of the bear, and now you're
if
just
I'm the bear's
sane.
like, all right, buddy, jeez, I didn't know.
She's like,
all right, man. Look, I'm just trying to get by you.
Just trying to get by.
But so like there's a biological thing to when you're scared farting or when you're nervous farting, because your body is like, oh no, I might need to get rid of my whatever's in my bowels. So like if you fart a lot when you're nervous, go take a shit because
Right.
you need to. That's my
This is
advice.
Mama's
That's Mama
AJ's
AJ's
yeah.
advice. If you're farting a lot when you're scared, go take a shit. Okay, I wanted to talk about more scary movies because I love scary movies. So I went to see Smile 2 over this last weekend. It's Thursday now, so I saw it, I think, on Saturday or Sunday or something like that. Mike, did you get a chance to see Smile 1?
I finally saw Smile 1. I saw it the other night. Yes.
Sal, have you seen Smile 1?
No, I have not seen these Smile
Okay.
movies. I saw the trailer. Was like pass.
You saw the
Too scary,
Okay,
so
the
that's
trailer.
weird.
No, too scary. Really. I mean,
Yeah.
it does. Like, there's something about creepy smiles that really gets to me in a way.
Yeah, I
that's
don't care
like,
for that.
meh. All right, so the quick recap on Smile. If you haven't seen it, it's streaming right now on Hulu and something else, I think. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and see it. I watched it and immediately forgot everything about it. So I rewatched it before I saw Smile 2. And I was like, how did I forget this? Because there are so many good jump scares. There are so many good scary
it's chock full of
visuals.
jump scares.
And like if you're like me, you're watching it and you're like, oh, Cal Penn's here. And then like you're watching it and you're like, oh, A-Train just showed up. Like, and that's for the boys. Anyone who watches the boys, A-Train shows up and he's like one of the main characters and he's kind of a dick. And you're like, oh yeah, well that's par for the course for A-Train.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine, whatever. But there are parts in this that are so intense that I'm like, how, like, I don't want to spoil even Smile 1 for people, but there is this one scene with Cal Penn that is so disturbing. And I'm like, how the fuck did I forget this? And it's because it's a dream sequence. And if you're like, oh, of course, dream sequences, whatever, but dream sequences make sense in this scenario because the whole idea is there's this demon that's like gotten into your head that's trying to make you insane. And so it's trying to scare you. It's trying to sleep deprive you. It's trying to make it so that you have to in front of somebody else to pass on the demon. It's like a very specific, intense, scary thing. So, Smile 1, Mike, does that do
Yeah.
enough to like to
Yeah,
give
totally.
us
I
now
really
your one sentence review?
I mean, I don't know if I could do it in one sentence, but like I really
Whatever.
like the kind of the dream or just like the hallucination parts where like you can't quite tell well, you could tell what really happened, but like after the fact. But like
Yeah.
the main character, she can't tell. Like, she's like, it all feels real, and then she's like, oh shit, I'm right back in it, kind of thing. So I really like that part. The jump scares were really fun. There were some that were just like a little bit kind of much. But then there's others that were really like inventive that I thought were pretty cool. Like the main flaw, this is a spoiler thing for anybody who hasn't seen it, but Smile 1 was, by the time, if you're watching Smile 2, you've seen Smile 1, blah, 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 blah.
I think
but like,
so.
The main flaw in this whole like demon thing, which basically represents like trauma, is that in order for it to be passed on to somebody else, like the person who currently has it has to unalive themselves and with a witness, and then that gets transferred over to that person because they've just witnessed that trauma. But like, and the main character is aware of that. So if she's so worried and she's so like lost and distraught about what's going on, and she's like to the point where she's gonna, or the other way to do it is to kill somebody else and see somebody else do it, like that kind of thing, like the one dude had it.
Yeah, you can pass it on
right?
to somebody
But like
else.
if she's at that point, or just so crazy and her life is ruined or whatever, and she's just like, just go. I thought she went back to that. Yeah, just go do it.
So
and then,
that's a good point. So the end
and
of
then it's
that
done.
movie kind of makes it so you feel like, oh, she's figured out how to end the curse on her part, but it doesn't work because in the days leading up to where she gets, like when you first get past the curse, you're just like, I'm not gonna unalive myself and I'm not gonna like unalive anybody else because why would I do that? But when you get to the point where you're not sleeping and you're hallucinating and that's what you want to do, then you're like, I need to protect everyone else. Like that becomes the first, like your self-preservation is first. And when you realize self-preservation is unavailable, then you want to protect the ones you love because those are the people that are more likely to get the trauma passed on to them. So quick, I'm going to do this in 1 minute. Smile 2 picks up. And it picks up 5 days later. And when Smile 2 opens, before the movie plays, the main character comes on like as herself and she talks to the audience. And she's like, I had so much fun making this movie. Like she does this like little bit. And I'm like, this is weird. Like I've never seen this before. But after the fact, I really appreciated it because she's a real human, but she got to make all this weird stuff. There's fantastic gore. It's so much fun. Go see it in the theater. Like I can't plug it enough. I loved Smile 2. It's my new favorite scary movie.
I will say too, one last thing for that. At the end, it's not spoiling anything, but when they reveal like the monster, that's an awesome looking monster. The way it's
At the
revealed
first
and
one,
stuff.
right? At the end of the first one.
Yeah.
And at
It's
the end of the
awesome.
second one, there's another awesome monster. Like, if you like the monster at the end of Smile 1, there's one that is even better at the end of Smile 2. And, like, the
Cool.
creature effects are fantastic. This is all, like, my husband did a bunch of deep dive because we love scary movies. This was all, like, real effects. They didn't do CG. Like, they had a real freaking creature. And the entire... So, also... Because the first one, you follow basically one woman the whole time. In the second one, you also follow one woman the whole time, but she's a public figure. She's a pop star, and I think that's very obvious in the trailers. So you get to, like, see this in a way that, like, she literally needs to hide this from everyone because everyone is looking at her all the time. So if you go see Smile 2, and if you've seen it already by the time you watch this, I want you to put in the comments, my husband said that he thought the pop star was like Miley Cyrus, and I said, absolutely not, this is Lady Gaga. So put Team Gaga or Team Cyrus in the comments so that I can count up. I think that it's clearly like very much Gaga vibes for Smile 2. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
All right, so this is Yesterday in Nerd History. We're going to talk about some stuff that happened in yesteryear, and we're coming up on a couple of anniversaries. First up is The Incredibles, which came out in 2004. So 20-year
20
anniversary.
years.
Ridiculous. Such an amazing...
And Jack is still a baby.
I love it.
I love cartoons.
I mean, this was like... When it came out, I was like, yeah, this is my favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah.
One, I'm a huge Brad
Really?
Bird fan, so like I was
Brad Bird, man.
I was biased for that alone. It was coming at a time too where like technologically they're always advancing and stuff like that. But like I remember when Incredibles came out, I was like, oh, this feels a little bit more polished in terms of like human characters and just some of the technological stuff. There's a part where like the mom they crash in the jet and land in the water. I remember seeing the water effects. I'm sure if we looked at it now, it'd look
You'd be
bad
like,
compared to stuff
Ancient.
now. But like,
I feel like
was like, oh
even-
man, they've made some improvements.
Yeah.
They
And just
definitely made
stylistically, I thought
improvements,
the whole
but
thing was so
because
great.
so much of what they did, I feel like with every movie with Pixar, because everything was so stylized and everything was so thought through, even if you start watching a movie and you're like, oh, they've made improvements since then, by the time you get to the end of the movie, you forget to look for those things anymore because everything else is like the story holds up, everything else holds up. Because every time I watch Toy Story 1 with my kids, I'm like, these graphics are not great. But by the time we get like halfway through, I completely forget to look at the graphics because it doesn't matter because I know Woody and I know, I know the story and everything else is really good. And I think the same is true for Incredibles. You watch it and you forget to look at like the idea of Frozone having like this frozen like walkway that he can go up. Like everything is super cool and super stylized.
All right, so that is a segue over to Twisted Metal, which came out in 95, which was 29 years ago.
29 years ago.
I love Twisted Metal on the PS1.
I want to know to anyone like me who doesn't know what Twisted Metal is. I was like, I literally didn't know if this was a movie, a game, a show, or whatever. It says, here's the 1995 trailer, but it's boring. That's a note from our producer,
it's a pretty
Julia.
bad trailer. It's a pretty bad trailer.
Here's the trailer, but it's boring. So I just learned that it's a game. That's hilarious. Thank you, Julia, for that line.
The premise of it is it's like a bunch of wacky characters. It's all very like, it doesn't take itself too serious, but there's just like, it's like in a post-apocalyptic world. And it's just like imagine just like the craziest like demolition derby with like ridiculous cars and characters and weapons and stuff like that. And it's all like the drivers are all very big characters and the cars themselves have their own names and big characters and different weapons and stuff like that. So it's just like a really fun, bash 'em up kind of game, and you can power up and do all these kind of things.
If you saw me just go crazy, it's because I just opened the trailer and it starts with fire and explosion sounds.
That's pretty much
like
it.
we're selling this to 11-year-olds.
What is happening?
The funny part about it
I need to watch this with
like,
no sound.
There's this whole backstory that goes on behind it too.
Is there?
No, it's not really like Crazy Taxi.
Okay, tell me how this is different from Crazy Taxi because I'm
Crazy
jumping
Taxi,
through
you're
the trailer
driving
and
around and you're picking up fares.
Okay, so you're not picking up
delivering
people.
to places like that. No,
It's
you're just trying to
Crazy
kill all
Taxi
the other
with
cars and
explosions.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, it's not like
Without
Crazy
fares.
Taxi at all.
It looks just like
There is a
I think
taxi
you're
in
focused
the
on
game.
that it has a car in it.
Twisted Metal, aka
So Grand Theft
Crazy
Auto
Taxi
is like Crazy
95.
Taxi, but with prostitutes.
Yeah.
It really is.
I know, that one's actually pretty
is.
close. I accidentally made a good analogy there.
That'd be great.
That's the
Very
only
different
difference.
vibe.
If that helps you, AJ, the only difference is that
No offspring.
Twisted Metal,
Metal
is Crazy
doesn't have
Taxi
offspring in it.
with no fares and
Right.
no offspring.
But no, there's this whole like stupid backstory with it. So to help explain how stupid this game is and how fun it is, it doesn't have anything to do with the gameplay itself, but there's this whole stupid backstory with like this like maniacal guy who's like kind of pulling the strings for this demolition derby. His name's Calypso, and he can grant wishes, and all the characters have like they all have like dark backstories. And if you win the Twisted Metal competition, tournament, whatever, like he'll grant you a wish. But then it's like in typical Genie fashion where it's like he's being a dick about it and he'll like put a twist on it and you end up dying or whatever kind of thing. Or he'll like grant it to you like normal. So that was
you're
like
evil. Like if it's bad. Like if you're already
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a bad person, like it's
Right,
like you get what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just completely unlocked a memory for me where I was like, oh my God, that was the plot of Twisted Metal. Like I was pretty convinced
Oh my God,
that
wait,
Twisted
you're
Metal was
right.
just like I
Just
would
a
not be
shitty
surprised.
Crazy Taxi ripoff. That's
Yes,
what you thought,
exactly.
right, Sal? That's what I thought.
That's 100%. It was not
You're
at
on
all
the same
that
page.
Yes.
We have the same mind. Sal, we are the same height. That is neat.
I actually thought that Twisted Metal was, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was revealed, where they were like, we have a lot of sprites of cars. We got cars from all over. Like, we got a taxi, we got a ice cream truck, we got this thing. Just put them all in one game, and then just have them blow each other up. And they're like, yeah, that sounds like we have a game. Like, okay, we got a game.
Sure.
Like, as long as one of our cars is like iconically distinct. How about we model one of our characters off of John Wayne Gacy, and we just make it Sweet Tooth.
Wait,
and
John Wayne
it's-
Gacy being a character
The serial
or a
killer.
real person?
The-
Okay.
John Wayne Gacy was
I get confused with
character type,
names
yeah.
and words sometimes, as I'm sure you know
Yeah,
already.
John Wayne
okay,
Gacy,
so being an
was a
actual
child murderer.
serial killer.
Yes, dressed up as a clown. So that's
Dressed up
like
as a
the
clown.
main like character. The main like not the main character, but probably the
This
most
is the
memorable
Twisted
one
Metal?
from the game.
What?
Yeah,
Well,
so
no,
there's
it's
one of
This
the
is
cars that
very
you can do.
Halloween themed.
So just like Crazy Taxi, there's a car that's
That
driven
looks
by
like a clown.
a clown
A
who's
horrible
a serial
clown.
killer. Called
Yep.
his the car he drives is called Sweet Tooth, right? He's not Sweet Tooth. He's got his. I forget.
I don't remember if he's Sweet Tooth, the car Sweet Tooth.
I think because his name is different, but whatever it
Yeah.
is. But he drives like an ice cream truck, right? And it's got like weapons and rockets and shit like that. And he's just like a crazy person dressed up like a clown.
You're right.
So
The car Sweet Tooth.
Yeah. So to put it like, there's like a ghost that's one of the drivers. There's like a cursed whatever. So it's like all over the place. It's just ridiculous.
Yep.
But the game itself was developed by. It's crazy. I was just doing like a little bit of deep dive with some of the history of it and stuff. So they did like 10 or 11 games off of this. And the first one was really fun. Second one was really fun. And then like by the third and fourth, the company changed hands to.
And they're like, we're not going to make this fun anymore.
Well, it was just like
I
different
assume.
creators.
Because you
it was,
said
like,
this one was fun, that one was fun. Third
Yeah.
one, when's the shoe going to drop? When's the other shoe drop?
Third and fourth one weren't good because they changed companies. So Single Track was made the first two. And then the companies, whatever dealings, whatever kind of nonsense stuff, this other company, 989 Studios, came over and they were able to they weren't able to keep the rights. And so this other company took the rights or whatever, how it worked. Those ones came out. They weren't as fun. The mechanics were a little bit different, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And then eventually like Single Track made like two other companies across the way that like they changed it to, I have it somewhere, Incognito Entertainment, then did another version of it, which was more popular then, and then Eat, Sleep, Play, which was the same guy, Scott Campbell.
And the prequel to Eat, Pray, Love, as we all know.
Yes. They developed the Eat, Pray, Love video game.
Franchise.
Which is a lot like GTA and Crazy Taxi. But no, so like it was kind of went all over the place. So it got shitty for a while, and then those guys were able to come back in and kind of revamp it and stuff, and it got more fun. But like, there was one thing I wanted to share. So Sweet Tooth is like the favorite or the most popular character, but my favorite character is this guy named Axel. So this is Axel.
I remember this guy. Yes.
Oh my God, he is an Axel.
So his like. Whatever the backstory was, like his dad was like a maniac or something like that, and his dad put him in this contraption.
Design is insane.
Oh my
It's
God.
the dumbest design.
I'm the car.
I love it.
Yeah, it is horror. Especially the fact that like he's being punished. Like this is a torture device that he's in, and he's like, my wish is to not have to be a car anymore. Please.
I'm not sure what's propelling this thing. They made a live action version of it last year on Peacock. And from what there's a season 2 is already in the works, and I think this dude Axel is going to appear in season 2.
Yes,
which is ridiculous. But it seems like it's a little bit different. They kind of like there's a whole backstory behind it and stuff. It looks fun. I watched one episode, but I'm not getting Peacock just on principle. So
I'm not doing it.
I have too many of those fucking things. Sal and I were talking about before. It's fucking absurd.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
It seems like if you have Peacock, it's worth a watch. I think it looks pretty fun the way they're definitely pulling stuff from some of the games, some of the later ones and bits and pieces and stuff from here. It looks like it's worth a watch. It looks kind of fun. The character Sweet Tooth is in it. Like he's one of the main villain, or not even a villain. They're all kind of bad in their own way, but like he's like he's a very bad person, but he's like likable.
It's like Needles Kane or something.
Needles,
He's a bad person, but he's
Needles.
likable.
Yeah, they make him a little bit too
kind of
likable.
like Negan. Like
That's
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I like
That's not a bad
Negan's a
comparison.
bad guy, but I kind of still wouldn't throw him out of bed. Let's talk about voting. If you haven't already and you're listening to this, it's very important. Go vote. We're not going to talk about politics. Do you think what you think? That's up to you. Just go vote. If you don't vote, I'm going to be really mad at you. You're worse than Negan if you don't vote.
You're worse than Negan if
You're
you don't
worse than
vote.
Negan. Even Negan would vote. Go vote. For equality, briefly, roundabout today, October 28th to be specific, is when it's the 50-year anniversary of women in the U.S. gaining the right to have mortgages, business loans, and credit cards in their own names without having to have the co-signature of a man. This means
a dark day. Well, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Another loss.
Mike, do I need to go have a talk with Holly? Do I need to call up Tiffany? We're going to have conversations behind your back. I'm calling up both your wives. I'm this close to getting Tiffany's number. I have Holly's number already. I got it because it was Mike's birthday like 2 years ago. So I was like, Holly, text me. I have things to talk to you about Mike with. But it was like for nice things.
I really didn't mean to derail this. I know this is actually a very important topic.
It's really funny.
That we want to talk about. Yeah.
It's a dark day.
No, but
I had to.
it is a dark
it was
day.
a good opportunity for a joke.
This means this is 50 years ago. I'm 40. I'm 40 years old. That means 10 years before I was born was the first time a woman could hold a credit card, a mortgage, or a business loan in her own name without having the co-signature of a man, which was usually a father, a husband, or a brother, somebody that she trusted. But now women can do it themselves without having a man.
An important note here, too, that Julia added, that this anniversary, it was also protected people of all races, religions, colors, ages, and marital status from the discrimination when applying for lines of credit.
If you're listening and you're in the U.S. and you haven't already voted, go get in line. If you are in line before polls close, they have to let you vote. So even if it's like if you get in line and it's 7:58, but polling closes at 8 p.m., go get in. Like, if you're there, they have to let you vote. It's literally your right to vote. So go get in line. Go vote, please. I love you. I like you. We like you. We hope you like us.
Wait, you're doing this way too early.
You said you have a heart out. You said you have a heart out.
Well, we
I
got
cut you out.
No, I know.
We can do more stuff. I just felt it just felt right at the time.
No,
it felt
I know,
right.
It did feel right.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it should be. It felt right.
No, I totally agree. Go vote. Everything AJ was saying, super important, super valid. I would understand about, like, if you're not wanting to vote because it's just one or the other, whatever, voting is very important. But if it's not just from the top, like down ballot stuff, local election, research all that shit, because that's the stuff that affects your day-to-day life in the town that you live in or whatever, and the people that you know day and day.
I'm literally going to go and vote today, early voting for Halloween. Like, that's my, I don't want to wait for election day.
In full costume?
In full costume.
as
I'm
a
going to be
witch.
as a witch. They're going to be like, this isn't you. Looking at this isn't you.
A couple people are going to be like, this fits.
Of course.
Well, I think we all know who you're voting for.
I'll do it before I put my full makeup on, hopefully. If you need help figuring out who to vote for, goodinformationfoundation.org has nonpartisan information. So you don't have to feel like it's leaning left, it's leaning right. Go there, check them out. You can read up on your candidates. There's also a couple other things. If you just search for, like, who is running in my area, there's usually, like, a bunch of stuff will come up.
All right, so that's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those things, be sure to give us a like, leave a comment. It really helps us out. Same with if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, thumbs up. We got a couple cues for comments this week for the Pumpkin Party plushie or the, what was it, in Smile 2.
Which
Monster.
pop star do you think
Which
it
pop
looks
star
like?
is it? Yeah.
Do you think
So, thanks again for watching. Anything you guys want to plug before we go?
Go vote.
No, just, vote. Go vote.
vote.
Yeah.
Go vote, please.
Go vote. Today,
Your
it's coming out
agency.
today.
All right.
Go
We
vote.
like you, and we hope you like us.
50-year anniversary of women in the U.S. getting the right to have loans and lines of credit.
Great.
However, for women, they did specifically need the cosign of a man. So that hence the
Which was usually a dad or a significant other,
husband.
or sometimes a brother, if they
I
were
think
lucky.
I think Sal or I should read that segment.
Yeah,
I
feel like it's only
AJ
right.
should start to read it, and you guys should just tell him.
And then you just barrel, you just take over.
Like,
What
that's a good
AJ's
point, AJ,
trying
actually.
to say here?
Can you guys mansplain it for me, please?
Yeah.